readers have had the tendency to compare this objectivity of the sagas to modern writers and modern literature. For example, Ernest Hemingway is pretty often mentioned in that context. Do you think the saga objectivity is similar to a Hemingway novel, or is it the same thing?
I think they look very much the same, I would say. So a reader who reads a Hemingway novel or a novel by Dashiell Hammett, for example, will have a similar impression as if they read an Icelandic saga, and that has to do with that both Hemingway and the sagas, they use this external perspective, that the narrator does not involve so much in the descriptions. The narrator does not comment on people's thoughts or feeling, but rather describes what is happening, what people say. And then we as readers understand that there is very much behind that. We can understand that people feel a lot, but that is not analyzed. And this is what happens in the sagas, and this is what happens in the Hemingway novels too. So yes, there is a clear similarity, but I do think that is also an essential difference how this is used in the Hemingway novels and in the sagas, because the Hemingway novels, they are modern works, of course, and they are modern in the way that they strive towards originality, and they describe special scenes which Hemingway really invents. And when he describes everything from outside, he also expects us as readers to guess or understand what people feel or think, but he expects that we should use our own life experience as the source of understanding here. And this is something completely different if you compare it with the sagas, because the sagas, they are basically traditional works rooted in an oral tradition. And there you have no striving towards originality, rather you strive towards creating well-known scenes that the readers can recognize. Yeah. And there you work in a very different way, because what you have in the sagas is a quite limited group, quite small group of formulas rather, or motives, recurring motives and recurring formulas which describe particular behavior. And on the basis of these formulas and motives you are able to interpret what is behind the surface. On the basis of these formulas and motives you can guess what people think and feel. And this is something completely different, because some scholars have made a mistake in describing the sagas as a sort of Hemingway novels, and said that yes, people's inner emotions and their feelings, they are described with only their behavior and so on, but we as readers, we should use our own experience of life, our own life experience, to fill the gaps what is not said. And I think this is completely wrong, because this is a good description of how we read a Hemingway novel. But to understand what's behind the surface in a saga, you don't need life experience at all. You should use your knowledge of the saga formulas and the saga stereotype motives to interpret what is going on when people behave in a special way and say something in a special way. So I think that's basically the essential difference.
Yeah, so some knowledge of the genre and how it works is well, necessary for the reader.
Yes, I think otherwise readers will miss quite a lot actually if they don't know anything about the genre. So I think you can, in many cases, you can actually decode some of these formulas and these behavior
just by
only
guessing.
Based on your general idea of people's psychological, how people work psychologically. But in many cases you don't. So the more sagas you read, the more you understand really of what's going on.